ইউটিউবতো লাইভ হৈ আছে দেই, চাবচোন। মই লিংকটো পঠিয়াই দিম।
itu itu para aja sih mau itu kok mau mobile para aja sih mau itu koma है तो
बेसन कम है ना डाउन पे छोड़ देना
माइक्रोफोन को ऑफ
ऐसे साउंड
सब है फैन सब
जैसे फैन पकानो है बेले बेले हां बेले को म्यूट कराना हां फैनर साउंड নহয় তো
বাইদেউ এতিয়া বহিব এবাৰ।
নাই এখন ন এইটো কানেক্ট কৰি আছে ন ডিসকানেক্ট কৰিলে আকৌ গুচি যাব যে কি ইকো হৈ আছে
কোনোবাই অন কৰি দিছে চাৰে মানে কোনোবাই অন কৰি থ'ব লাগিব।
মোৰতো অন হোৱা নাই জয়ন্ত চাউটো অন হৈ আছে হৈছে এতিয়া চাগে কাট নাযায় দেই মই সেটিংছ কৰি দিছো মানে কল আহিলো বেলেগ এটা সিমত লৈ ল'ব ক'লো কাটি দিছে এতিয়া সন্দেহ লাগিছে ইকো কিয় হৈ আছে এটা কথা কি জানা নাই বাইদেউ ট্ৰায়েল দিব লাগিছিল কথা কৈ আমাৰ মানুহখিনিৰ মাজত
এই টাইল এই কোৱা নাই নহয়
কি কোৱা নাই কাৰণ গেছখিনিতো অহা নাই এতিয়া এটা প্ৰিন্সিপাল ছাৰক এটা দিব লাগিছিল আপুনি পইচা তোৰতো অনে আছে
অন আছে ন সেইটো লগাচোন মোবাইলটো পাৰিবিনে तो कैमरा को क्या होगा
तो नेटवर्क के दिखाना है हां लैपटॉप आना है देखो
अच्छा आपने बढ़िया लगेगा हां वेरी गुड देखा था 10 मिनट सर देखा था मुझे सर
अपने हाथ से अपने ऐसी किसी को काला काम को
मैं यहाँ पर मेल्टिंग है अपनी का सेंटर
আচ্ছা এটা গঙ্গাবাড়িও কখন আমি ভ্রমণ নাই না স্যার আগে আলাপ করে সাথে সাথে বাইরে আমি শুনি স্যার হ্যাঁ
Hello, Principal sir.
ছাৰ
শুনিছেনে বাইদেউ?
বাইদেউ শুনিছোঁ। আপুনি আছে ছাৰ লাইনত?
আছো আছো।
Sir, we will start exactly at 11 a.m.
ওকে। আমাৰ ৰিচোৰ্চ পাৰ্চন আছিলে
Dr. Wandin Asia Tereng.
ওয়ানদিন
Wandin Asia Tereng. হয়,
ডাৰিং না
Tereng. হয়। Wandin Asia Tereng.
ডাৰিং ঠিক আছে। ইনফৰমেশ্যন টেকনলজি এণ্ড এম্পাৱাৰমেণ্ট অফ ওমেন।
মানুহবোৰে মিউট হৈ লৈছে একদম কাকো নিজে নিজে মিউট হৈ লৈছে না ছাৰৰ ভিডিঅ'টো ধুনীয়া আহিছে
এইটো তোমাৰে জাষ্ট এডমিট আহিলে
ইউটিউবত আহি আছে না
ইউটিউবত আহি আছে
Check also Wandin. Principal science check also Dr. Wandin Asia Tereng. Resource person क्या है?
বুলি কৈছে
লিংকটো পাইছো খোলা নাই মানে
খোলা নাই বুলি কৈছে লিংকটো পাইছে কিন্তু খোলা নাই
আক্সটো জয়েন আহিছে লিংকটো পাইছো
ছাৰ এই বাইদেউ
আক্সটো জয়েন আহিছে জয়েন কৰাচোন
জয়েন কৰিলে এইটো কেনসেল
চাচোন চাচোন
লিংকটো আহিছে এইটো আক্সটো জয়েন কৰাৰ পিছত
You join the meeting whenever someone leads you.
কোনোবা সোমাব দিলেহে মই সোমাব
আরে বাইদেউটো ইন কৰা নাই নেকি তাত
কৰিছো জাস্ট কৰিছো স্যার এডমিটেড
মই সবিতা বাইদেউৰ কথা কৈছো বাইদেউটো অহা নাই যে
এতিয়া জাস্ট মই এডমিট কৰিলো
আহিছে বুলি কৰিলো বুলি কৈছো
আহিছে
আহিছে নে ওকে
বগা বড় আছে নেকি
গংগা তাত আছে
ঘৰত নে ওপৰত
নহয় ইয়াত সঞ্জীৱ
আহিছে
Am I audible? Yeah. You are not visible, but I am audible to you. No? Please let me know. Then we can start. No? Terry? Yeah, you are there, but you are not visible. You on the camera one day? On the camera? Yeah. The camera is on. One day. Hello. Then can we start? Because already it's 11. Huh? Yeah. স্যাৰ আমাৰ ৰিচোৰ্চ পাৰ্চনৰ কেমেৰা কিয় প্ৰব্লেম হৈ আছে
Oh,
তেওঁ ট্ৰাই কৰি আছে এটা কেমেৰাটো প্ৰব্লেম হৈ আছে
oh, oh, oh.
স্যাৰ আপুনি
One din Asia.
হয়
আপুনি মোৰ মাতটো ভালকে শুনিছেনে?
শুনিছোঁ স্যাৰ আপোনাৰ মাতটো ভালকৈ আহিছে মোৰটো শুনিছেনে স্যাৰ মাতটো ঠিকে আছে
শুনিছো।
মোক দেখিছেনে স্যাৰ
মই আপোনাক এক মিনিট গংগা দাস শুনিছো দেখিছে বাইদেউ
হয়
দেখা
ঠিকে
পাইছো
আছে
হয় ৰক্তিমা মেধি how are you
I'm fine. Itu one day, নহলে itu
Dr. Jayanta Burman
তাই দেখাই পোৱা নাই এতিয়া তাই
স্যার আসো স্যার
আছা
আসো স্যার শুনেছেন স্যার স্যার দেখিছেনে স্যার
মই দেখা পাইছো তোমাক পাইছো মই মাত্ৰ 4-5 গৰাক মই দেখা পাইছো 4 or 5
স্যার মই জয়ন্ত বৰ্মনে কৈছো মোৰ মাতটো শুনিছেনে স্যাৰ
শুনিছো
হ'ব স্যাৰ
নাই
good
মই ট্ৰাই কৰি
we
আছো
are waiting for the resource person
so she is on the line but her camera is not working
is she using mobile phone or that
laptop sir
laptop okay we can wait 5 minutes
okay sir
we are discussing about information technology
কতটো অকণ এই ধৰাচোন ৰবা বস্তু এটা চাই আছো
জয়ন্ত কি খবৰ
স্যার আসো স্যার মিউট কৰি লৈছো
अपना मोबाइल बाहर लेशन है
নেকি এতিয়া আপুনি ৰুটি অকমানহে খালে মই কিন্তু লুচি বনাই দিলোঁ তাইৰ লগত কিয় তেনেকুৱা হৈ আছে খাব লাগিব
চাই আছো না
মাতটো আহিছে নেকি
মাতটো আহে
হা
মাতটো তেখেতে মই শুনা পাইছো মাতটো হেৰি
Just give me 2 minutes.
তেখেতৰ কি আগতে
নেটৱৰ্ক বুলি দিয়া যায় আৰু কি আমাৰ নাই তেখেতৰ যে লেপটপ ছেটিংছত গৈ পেলাই কৰিলে য'ত ব্লক থাকে তাত হাইড মেনশ্যন কৰিলে কিন্তু কেমেৰা ফেইল দেখাই আছে তাৰমানে এইটো হাৰ্ডৱেৰৰ প্ৰব্লেম
চলালে নহয় ৰাতি চালে
হ'ব পাৰে গ্ৰাফিক্স কাৰ্ডৰ প্ৰব্লেম হোৱাটো হাৰ্ডৱেৰৰ প্ৰব্লেম
মানে কি হয় চিলেক্ট হাৰ্ডে ক'লো নহয় গ্ৰাফিক্স কিবা চিলেকশ্যন হেৰি হৈ আছে খুব
আহিছে নে
মানুহজন মানে অনলাইন আছে কিন্তু সেয়া মানে
Good morning. Okay, now I can see.
Yeah. Good morning, Wande. Again.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Sorry for this delay with the camera. There was a problem with my network. It wasn't connecting. Yeah.
Now we can start, no, Wande. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see? Can you all see me now?
Yeah. You are visible here.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Namaskar. Very warm good morning to all of you. I am Gangarani Das, the Department of Economics, ADP College, and the organizing secretary of this webinar. Hope all of you are fine and safe at home. I welcome you all. Respected Principal of ADP College, Dr. Surajit Kumar Bhagavati sir, Honorable Resource Person of today's webinar, Dr. Wandinisia Tereng, respected Coordinator IQAC, Dr. Samar Porakakuti sir, my colleagues, my friends, and dear participants. It's my honorable pleasure to start today's webinar titled The Information Technology and Empowerment of Women. Today we have gathered here to discuss about the impact of information technology in women empowerment. If we look to the world scenario, we can see women have fought for their political rights, which is right to vote, in the beginning of mid-19th century. And when it comes to our contemporary society, information technology has helped women to make progress to various aspects of their everyday livelihood. So today, through this webinar, I hope our speaker will try to focus on various dimensions of information technology and women empowerment. Now, I would like to request our principal, sir, to inaugurate the webinar. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Gangarani Das. Good morning to all of you. And my special welcome to Dr. Wandinisia Tereng, who is the resource person of today's webinar on information technology and empowerment of women. I also welcome all the participants who are in the line, who are from different parts of the country. And in the initial stage, I express my sincere thanks to the IQAC coordinator, Dr. Sanjeev Barkotaki, as well as to the faculties of Department of Economics and Joint Coordinator, Dr. Jayanta Burman, Dheeraj Bora, and my dear participants. So today's topic is information technology and empowerment of women. Here you can find two terms. One is called the information technology and another is called the empowerment of women. So to be frank, this information technology concept, it has arrived faster than the empowerment of women concept in our society. But when we talk about the empowerment of women, we talk about the development of women politically, socially, economically. So behind this, in order to empower the women in our society, now the information technology has become very important for us. And if you look the history of women empowerment, there you will find that in Bangladesh, in 1997, the Grameen Bank had started one technology that is called the Grameen Phone. And that Grameen Phone was used to communicate the borrowers, women borrowers of Bangladesh with the rest of the world. So this Grameen Phone, it was the first step that was initiated by Professor Muhammad Yunus of Bangladesh, of Grameen Bank in 1997. And through that Grameen mobile phone, that women were given the access to the information technology. So now in the present world, you know that mobile phone or different devices which are being used for information and communication, most of them are available in the society. In the market also they are available. And women in the society, they are using this technology for development, for economic development, for social development, for political development. So presently, we cannot think about women empowerment without technology. Technology is a part of the process of women empowerment. So my expectation is that in today's webinar, our resource person, Dr. Wandinesia Teriang, she will speak on information technology and how these information technologies are being used by women in the present world for development. So I welcome you again to this webinar, and I will also hear about the speech of Wandinesia. And at last, I express my sincere thanks to the resource persons, to all the organizers of Department of Economics, IQAC of ADP College. From our college, I express my sincere thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for inaugurating the webinar. Now, I would like to request Coordinator IQAC, Dr. Sanjeev Barkotaki, sir, to present his introductory note. Sir, please.
Dear friends, on behalf of IQAC, ADP College, I welcome you all to this webinar. Well known that women are at the receiving end all over the world. Is very necessary to empower them. In that context, knowledge is a tool because it is known that knowledge is power. But the traditional knowledge has been seen to fail to deliver. So it is expected that technology that may be a boon in empowering women. As IT does not have geographical constraints. Yet, organize this webinar in order to discuss the issue. Dr. Terian from who is with us to deliver address. I welcome Dr. Terian. I hope our deliberations will enrich us all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your introductory note. We have completed our first session. So now I would like to forward for the next session. All of you know today we have Dr. Wandinisia Teriang as resource person. And before she take over the session, I would like to give a brief introduction about her. But before that, I would like to request our participants to leave your questions in the chat section. And once she finishes her presentation, we will present your question to her. So I am going to introduce Dr. Wandinisia. Dr. Teriang is an assistant professor in the Department of Economics in Northeastern University, Shillong. Her area of interest are on gender issues, economics of social sector, and agricultural economics. She has made publications in reputed journals and book sectors. She visited as first lecturer in University of Calcutta in 2018. And she has also been a resource person in refresher courses, workshop, etc. And moreover, she is supervising two PhD scholars. So now, I would like to request Dr. Wandinisia Teriang to present her lecture, deliver her lecture. So Wandi, you can present your lecture.
You is there being.
Yeah, you are visible, Wandi. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Because there's an echo, so I'm not sure. And
Wandi. Hello, Wandi. I think some problem arises in her network. Yeah. Wandi, you are not audible. I think some problem arising in your area. এটা প্রবলেম হয়েছে কিবা এটা প্ৰব্লেমটো হ'ব নালাগে। This is not our problem. ক্লিক কৰা আছে তুলি নাথাকো আমাৰ ঠিকেই আছে। Hello, Wendy.
Hello?
Please join again.
Hello?
Yeah. You are now audible. Yeah, we
Can you
can
all
see you.
hear me now?
Yeah. You are audible. You can start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serious network problem.
There's a problem with the sound again, I think.
You can start one day.
Yes.
You start.
One minute, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to use this PowerPoint here, but sound is very disturbing. I don't know.
That problem.
I will have to reattach this. See if I can. My PowerPoint is not showing. Can I just speak?
Hello.
And maybe I can show the PowerPoint later. I don't know if there's a problem again. Hello?
সবে লগ ইন কৰিছে
গম পাব আমাৰতো
Yeah, exactly.
Ganga, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Andy. You proceed, yeah.
Hello? Yeah. There's a problem with the loading here. I don't know what is wrong. So I will just, speak. You all can just be audible to me, I think. So let me just start with this. Right? So my topic today would be on information technology and empowerment of women. Right? Now let me start with what the World Bank says, that any endeavor to revamp the quality of life of people in developing countries would be incomplete without the empowerment of women. Right? So here, when the World Bank tries to stress on empowering women as one of the important aspects of achieving development, particularly in the developing countries. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, yes. Yes, you are audible. Yeah.
Okay, all right. The World Bank therefore tried to define the empowerment as a process of increasing the capacity of individuals, whether of a person or the group, in order to enable them to have their freedom to make choices, and also how they will transform those choices into action, and bring out the desired outcome. Right? So that is how the empowerment was being defined by the World Bank. So therefore, what is the empowerment? I was just saying that it is a process which helps to enable a person to increase the capacity. Right? Now, one way of implying this increasing capacity, that is to increase the authority or the leadership in a person, and also of enabling the task or the responsibility in that person to give them the freedom to make choices, right? To give them the freedom to make decisions, right? Either individually or it could be, collectively or as a group, right? And how those choices therefore could be transformed into certain specific actions and thereby bring out an output or an outcome from there. Right? So in a way, by empowerment, what we actually understand is, having the ability or the capacity to gain control over a person or the group's destiny, all right, and also thereby transforming the lives of individuals and the community or the group, right? So therefore, empowerment basically gives the individual or the community, right, the capacity to build themselves, the capacity to improve upon the quality of life and the standard of living of individuals and also the communities into which they belong. So here, coming to this empowerment of women, what do we actually mean by, or what do we actually understand by this empowerment of women? I hope I'm not going too fast. Is it all right?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Okay. so what do we actually understand by this empowerment of women? Right? It's basically in terms of, I would put it as improving the strength or the authority in women, in terms of, or also the status of women in terms of the social aspects, the political, the education, as well as the economic strength and capability of women. Right? Okay. Either again here, I will like to put it as an individual, all right, or as a community in which to which they live or to which they belong. Right. So here, when we're talking about this empowerment of women, in fact, in many studies, right, the empowerment is being considered as one of the key factors of determining the success, right, of development in terms of where we look at it in terms of the status as well as the position of women in the society. Now, if we look at at our constitution also, right, the Constitution of India also grants equality of women. Grants equality to women, right, and it also empowers upon the respective states how the measures can be adopted that would be favor women, all right, in order to ensure the betterment of women, right? Okay. Now, in the recent times, right, when we look at the empowerment of women, more driven by poverty, and this is much more visible if we look at the less developed countries, right? And even in the developing economies. Okay, now that is that could be one of the aspects of empowerment of women, right? Either because of reality, or it also could be because of the in the number of women, in the number of women, and then more opportunities, right, that are available to women. Right? So now, what therefore is the need for women empowerment? What are those aspects or the different issues that cause for this need for empowering the women? Now, one of the important aspects, I've actually listed 6 important aspects. One that is related to the decision-making power, the freedom of movement, the accessibility to education, accessibility to finance and financial resources, then the accessibility to employment, exposure to media, and also the domestic violence. Now, when we look at the first important aspect of or the first important issue that actually calls for the need to empower women is related to the decision-making power. All right. Now, when we look at India, all right. Now, there are many states across India and many and also within the communities across the states in India, all right. We find that there is a patrilineal social setup. Right? So this, the societal setup itself, right, being patrilineal in nature, okay, is, if I can put it like this, is more male dominant, right? Thereby allowing very little power, right, to women. Right? And hence, this decision-making power is also very weak or very poor when we look at when we look at the statistics, that is the women. Right? Okay, because most of the decision-making power would always be in the hands of the men. Right? So, but with the progress of time, right? And and also with if we look at the different schemes and the different activities that the government, initiatives that the government has been taking up over the years, right, in trying to bring out, right, the importance or the role of women, right? So this is, so to say, an initiative to allow the women, therefore, to participate in the decision-making process as well. Right? Now, coming to the freedom of movement. Now, the freedom of movement also is another aspect or an issue, right? Which we find. One minute. Hello. Okay, I just lost my connection there. Sorry. So talking about the freedom of movement of women, also here we find that women have very limited ability, right? Particularly, in terms of when we look at single women, right? For an educated, an educated single woman, right? Not be as to shift to another place, to live alone, to the thought of living alone and working in a place, all right, right? So that is one issue which therefore, in terms of a woman who already has, a family, all right, to raise. It would not be easy for her to shift the entire family, for her to go and to think of working in another place, right? So this is also another issue which limits the freedom of movement of women from one place to another, right? In terms of her opportunities, and if it's available. Also, in terms of accessibility to education. Now, if we are to, look at the records of women, all right, of literate women, let me be more specific. Now, we will find that it has no doubt improved over the years, but women are still lagging behind the men in terms of their accessibility to education. There are more number of boys, all right, who are being sent to school, all right, in comparison to the girls, where the girls have always been projected as the ones who have to, take up the household chores. They are the ones who have to, help out in the home, in the family. Right? So therefore, the possibility for them to go to school is much lesser. And this is particularly so when we look at, the situation in the rural areas. Then we look at another aspect, that is the accessibility to financial resources. Okay? This is also one aspect which limits the ability of women, all right? In terms of, if we are talking about that, of empowering them, right? The lack of education also kind of puts a hold on women to have accessibility to these resources, right? They have, they have, so to say, limited accessibility to resources, if considering that they have no other resource, whereby no lending institutions would be willingly so to say agree to lend to them when they know that the chances of recovering the loans would not be as easy. Right? So therefore, the lending agencies would also be reluctant. Right? Then accessibility to employment is also another issue. When we look at employable capacity of women or the employability of women, right, across the country or across the globe. Right? We will find that the workforce participation rate of of men would always be much higher than women. Right? And in fact, the this accessibility to employment, right, which is a limiting factor to women, could also be attributed to the social, cultural factors that have been embedded in the society, right, which allows limited, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of the limited freedom to women, the limited education to women, all right, hence, therefore, which lowers down the employability of women, all right, in the different sectors. Right? So therefore, her contribution is considered more so within the household, within the home, rather than in terms of employment. Rather than her productive activities outside the home. Now, again, exposure to media, right? This is also another aspect which is interesting in terms of, particularly related to the present day, where women are no doubt exposed to media. When we look at whether we're talking about radio, the TV, or even the print media. Right? Now, but there is still a limiting capacity in terms of exposure to media, right? Or even in terms of recently with the technology development. Right? Not all women are well versed with this technological advancement that is taking place. Right? And this also could be attributed to the factors that we were talking about. Right? Basically, the social-cultural setup, the tradition, therefore, puts on, or rather, holds back the women, right, from being exposed to these different sources. Then also the domestic violence, all right, which we all are aware of, and we all know, which is taking place in many parts of the country, in many parts of the world. Right? So these are also issues, therefore, which what calls for the need, therefore, to empower the women. Right? But how do we do that? Right? Now, when we look at the role of technology in terms of the empowerment of women, right? Now, here the history of women's role in technology has been taking place for many years. Right? Now, in fact, when we look at the tech jobs or the technology jobs, this has been popular among women right from the Second World War. As an example, here let me see, that is in terms of the Ada Lovelace. She's a Nobel British scientist, right? She was the one who contributed to analytics engine in the 19th century, right? So here we find that the inclusion of women in technology has been, the influence, all right, of such pioneering women like Ada Lovelace. Right? And also we have Grace Hopper. She is also a great American mathematician. In fact, the first woman who, the mathematician who invented the first computer programming language in 1952. Then, in a much later period, that is in 1960s, right, when Neil Armstrong and his colleagues Michael Collins and Buzz Aldrin went to the moon and back. Here also the role of women or the inclusion of women was also found in terms of the role played by Margaret Hamilton. Right, in 1960, where she wrote the software code for Apollo 2 moon landing. which therefore guaranteed the safe passage of Neil Armstrong and his team to the moon and back. So what we find is that despite the expertise that women have and their achievements, right from so many years, right from the 19th century, for so many decades, right, women are still faced with the barriers to entry into technology, right? And they were also not free from criticisms either, right? For such, for their expertise and their achievements, right? And one of the criticisms, that would usually happen, right from those times, and even at this, at the present day, is when women make their career choice. Right? They would be criticized, whereby to think of a woman being independent would mean that she would forsake her traditional role in the family. She would give up her traditional role in the family of, say, running the household full time. She would not have the time to look after the family, to look after the children, to look after the health and welfare of the household. Right? This is the criticism that that woman would often face. Right? When she considers herself as being independent, as being independent in terms of being financially independent, or when she makes a career choice, right? The thought automatically comes that she will have to break away from the traditional roles that she would be playing in terms of being the household. Right? So, these are situations, therefore, which kind of puts a wall to women, right? In terms of allowing them to play their part towards the development process in the economy. Actually, I had prepared this PowerPoint where I had just given a report, some points relating to the women in India. Right? Since the PPT is not, I couldn't load the PPT here. So let me just read out to you, when we look at the total population of the country, right, we have a population of 0.2 million. 1,210 point something million. Right? This is as per the 2011 census. And out of the total population of 1,210.2 million, right, we have the women population comprising almost half of that total population. That is 586.5 million. Right? Now, when we look at the sex ratio of of the country also, what we find is that there are 943 women per 1,000 men. Or even when we look at the child sex ratio, we have 919 girls per 1,000 boys. Now, when we look at the literacy rate has shown an increase, no doubt, over the years, right? Over the two census decades in 2001 to 2011, right, where we find that in 2001 the literacy rate of men was about 75%, whereas for women it was around almost 54%. And in 2011, this percentage has improved much higher, I would say, for women as compared to men. It has up to 82% for men, higher for women at 65%. Right? But considering that there are more women now that have gained access to education, yet when we look at the women's participation in the workforce, right, it is still, I should say, miserably very low, right, at only 29%. Right? And when we look at the participation, or rather the workforce participation of women also, right, a majority of women are engaged in the unorganized sector. About 80% of women are engaged in the unorganized sector. And most of these women are engaged in the agricultural sector, right? And some in the, in the production unit, right? Where, of course, again, even being engaged in the production unit, they are not in the, so to say, in the high production processes, but in the much lower sector. So, when we look at the accessibility of women to farmers credit also, as I said, I mentioned earlier, where this is one of the issues which, so to say, limits upon the women, right? Or which puts a ceiling on the women, right? In terms of their accessibility to credit, which only stands at around 26%, right? So even with this, accessibility to farmer credit, however, what we find is that, when we look at the accessibility to financial products, right? Now, here, what we will find is in terms of women having their own savings accounts, right? This shows that only about 15% of women have their own savings accounts. And, particularly in relation to the microcredit loan also, right? Only about 5% of women across the country have access to the microcredit loan, right? So, which shows that, women's accessibility to credit is still very meager, right? Which, therefore, it makes them to have to struggle if at all they want to start up something, right? Now, over the years, however, if we are to look at the exposure of women to, the different media, the radio, TV, cinema, the print media, right? Now, in the recent times, there is a development where we find that women also have much more accessibility to, to technology, so to say, right? But here also, it is the men who have, have a higher accessibility, where men, are reported to have about 88% exposure, whereas women have only about 71%. Right? So, coming to the importance of technology, right? Or now there's so much talk about the ICT. Right? And its role in different development aspects of the economy. Right? Now we know that the information and communication technology, or the ICT, this is an important and a diverse technological resource that helps not only in terms of creating or but also in terms of disseminating and storing information, in terms of managing the technical occupations, and with the development of the information and communication technology, this has provided a lot of ease in operations, right? And also in terms of convenience, as well as the benefits that is being derived from the technology. Right? So, and technology is also, is also important from the point of view where it has an important influence in the labor market. Right? That is where it has its influence in terms of through greater connectivity, right? In terms of digitization of the economy as well as globalization of skills. Now I will speak about these one by one, right? That is how technology has an influence in the labor market, that is through greater connectivity. Right? Now, through the use of the internet, right? Now, anywhere, any part of the country we move, right? We will find that we have easy accessibility to the internet. Right? And the use of internet, therefore, is also an important tool which opens up the job opportunities to people as well. Right? Then the digitalization of the economy. Now here in the digitalization of the economy, this is more related to the nature of work that is being carried out in the different sectors of the economy. Okay, and with the digitalization of the economy, it helps in the disaggregation, right? Right. Well, now it's through the use of the internet, right? Depending on the nature of work that people are doing or are involved or engaged in, right? One may not need to move or to migrate to another place of work in case of in case of any how do I put this? Right? Okay. Now, through the internet, right, work can be easily done. Work and also between the employer we also have a powerful relates to global chain of the production processes that is being carried out, particularly in today's world. So with the advancement of technology, right, through the use of it enables the when I mentioned the development of the right, and okay, all right, in order to carry out their benefit, okay, from the activities. Role of ICT, this is also one of the aspects that has been recognized in the Millennium Development Goals, right? All right, it's mentioned in point 8 in the MDGs, right, as an important and powerful resource in the fight against poverty. That is, the development of technology, right, helps to open up ways and means of employing themselves for the individuals. Right? It is it plays an important role to bridge the digital divide, right? That is through the spread of technology across the globe, right? And therefore, what we talk, what is commonly talked about is developing the knowledge society, right? So this knowledge society is possible to be developed only through the advancement of technology, through the development of technology. Right? And here, therefore, the information and communication technology plays an important role towards, towards developing the knowledge society, right? And hence in its fight against poverty. Right? Now, the development of technology or the spread of technology, right, is also therefore opening up new areas for not only in terms of knowledge sharing, but also in terms of knowledge gathering, as we are doing right now. This would not have been possible today had it not been through the development of technology, right? So this knowledge sharing and knowledge gathering, right, is making it possible for both women and men, right? And this therefore provides unlimited opportunity for economic development, right? So, spoken about this technology and its importance. Now, how can technology therefore empower women? Right? As I mentioned earlier, in the statement report of the World Bank, where in order to improve the quality of life, right, of an
Quality of life can be quality of life can be improved.
of technology as a tool for empowering women is where the technology allows women to actively participate in the decision making. How? That is, through digital technologies, all right, or are being exposed to the technology that is through the as I said earlier, with the knowledge sharing, right? When women have accessibility, say, to the use of phones, right? And now with with internet being available, right? They are becoming more aware, right, of the environment. They are becoming more aware of what is happening around them, right? Now this provides an opportunity for them, all right, in terms of bettering their life, bettering their household. Right now, even if when she has a spouse, right, who is the breadwinner in the household, now she could also supplement that income, all right, okay, without disturbing or without breaking away from the so to say the traditional roles of running the household, looking into the welfare, all right, and the well-being of her children, of her family, right? The technology therefore has provided the women with this powerful tool to actively participate in productively, right, in raising income, right, through by engaging herself, all right, either as an individual or as a community, right, where they can engage in, say, for example, in starting up a business, right? Okay. Or as there's a case where women in Bangladesh, what they do is when these women have ownership of a mobile phone, all right, they have access to the internet. So what they do is they would rent, they would have the they would rent the airtime, like it's the calling, like how we would use the PCO. So these women would rent their phones, and they would have these women line up, all right, to make calls. So just like we have the PCO. So this is one of the ways through which women are able to raise an income. and that therefore helps to supplement the income of the household. Right? So through the development of technology, it not only opens up a way for women to get themselves employed, but it also helps them to raise income. They can therefore, this can also help to improve their status and their position within the family, within the society. All right, therefore, women would be given a way of, participating, therefore, in the family, in the society. Now, the information technology also has a positive effect in terms of the labor force participation of women in the in developing countries. Now here, when we talk about the positive effect of women, in the labor force participation in the developing countries, that is where technology has paved the way, or it has opened up vistas for women to transform the knowledge and information that they get, right, into innovative products and services, just like the case of women in Bangladesh that I had just mentioned. Right? So this therefore increases the flexibility of their participation. Right? And this also helps to provide a platform for women, for women leadership. Right? And therefore increase their participation in the community. Right? And this, in a way, them economically as well. Increase in the number of women being engaged in I will not say engaged, but having access to education, with more and more girls being encouraged to send to school, right? And with more and increasing number of women, having attained a certain level of education, right? Technology therefore has a promising potential for the development of women in the job creation, right? And this is more so in terms of increasing the women's participation in the services industry. Right? If we look at in terms of banking, insurance, printing, and publishing, right? And all this would therefore create that potential for creating an economically economic power to women in terms of their their economic standing, right? See, through the income earning resource. Now, the technology also will be a powerful tool whereby it enables women to work from anywhere and anytime, right? As I mentioned earlier, where the women may not need to move, right, from or to migrate from one place to another, where she would not be required to shift her family altogether. See, if at all she has to seek employment, right? Okay, so it makes it easier for the woman to even work from home. Right, like now, where we have the outsourcing process, all right, in many areas, all right. Say for example, in terms of editing, where these companies would send their files, all right, okay, and the woman can just sit at home, right, and do that job efficiently, right, without disturbing the role that she plays within the family, right. So therefore, technology therefore not only breaks the digital divide between men and women, but it also tries to draw in the equality, that gender equality between men and women. Right? And it also provides women with a platform, right, to improve upon the quality of life, not just for themselves, but also for their households, right? Because we know that, educating, there's this common saying that, educating the woman would imply educating the world, right? There's here. Let me cite this. This example. Like, for example, when a woman earns, right, she will not think about meeting her own needs and requirements, right? But she will ensure that her children would get enough education. There would be enough food in the house, right? They would be properly clothed, right? There would be enough, the facilities that should be available within the family, all right? So, therefore, she will look into the needs of not just herself, but the household. So, hence, when there is an improvement in the household, right, this would slowly, right, move towards an improvement in the society, right? That is through the education that children attain, right, that her children attain, right? There will always be a spillover effect that we talk about, right? Education will always have a spillover effect. So, her educated children can pass on that, that knowledge, right? And this therefore can help to bring about, right, a development in the society, in the economy, right? So, the technology therefore is, or rather, it can be considered as an important tool of, of empowering women. All right, whereby this will not only help to improve, therefore, the quality of life of the women, but of the community or the society to which she belongs. And this, therefore, in the process of development, this is what that is needed. Now, the technology therefore helps to address this gender imbalance, right, and help to educate the women about the benefits of technology. Now, when we look at the women empowerment, right? Now, increasing the women empowerment, therefore, is considered to be important, and in order to increase the economic opportunities for women. When we're talking about the increasing the economic opportunities for women, that is increasing the the employability of women, right, in the different sectors of the economy, increasing the productive capacities of women, increasing the job opportunities for women, right, whereby by helping them to raise an income, right, it would therefore help to improve the well-being of the family, and this can also help to put an end to poverty and hunger, right, particularly in today's age. Right, we cannot always just depend on to support the family, right? So therefore, by encouraging women to participate in the economic activities, right, this can help to therefore improve the situation of the society. Then the poverty, right, and hunger. So therefore, what is needed to be done in order to to empower women through technology? Right? Now there are two important points that I've put up here. Right? One is that it is needed that there has to be an involvement of a thoughtful policy and also to develop plans. But the places in which the families for whom that in order to enable cities and also to sustain themselves and their households. Right? So therefore, what is needed to be done is that women should also be given encouragement to attain education, because we know that education is the key ingredient for all forms of development, including economic development. Right? So by attaining education, it makes the women more aware of what is happening around them, right? Then by getting access to technology, right, this would provide them a better platform of improving upon the lives of women, right, without really disturbing this, the social construct or the social construct, right? So this is, so this is that how women.
Thank you, Dr. Jayanto. Now our webinar is over. So thank you all participants.
আছে নেকি? মানুহবোৰ আছে
থাকিব, আমি ওলাই আহিলে বাকী
আপুনিও আছে।
আমি লিভ কৰা নাই ন, যোনে যোনে লিভ
বেয়া লাগিছে ইমান ধুনীয়াকে চব প্ৰিপেয়াৰ কৰি তাৰ লেকচাৰটো ঠিকে আছিল, কিন্তু ইমান নেটৱৰ্ক
প্ৰব্লেম আমাৰ চামখিনি যথেষ্ট চামখিনি পুৰা ক্লিয়াৰ আছে,
আমাৰ ক্লাছৰ চাউণ্ডটো পুৰা ক্লিয়াৰ আছে,
প্ৰিন্সিপাল ছাৰ চাউণ্ড পুৰা ক্লিয়াৰ আছে।
এই নেহৰ প্ৰব্লেম
বাইদেউ কোনটো সময়ত চাকচোনৰ ইয়াতে গান চলো দেখিও গান কৈছো কোনটো সময়ত আপোনাৰ হেৰি চাওক দাদা শেষ হৈ গ'ল,
দাদা শেষ হৈ গ'ল,
এই ওপৰত দিছে কিয় দিছে কোনটো সময়ত শেষ হৈছে দিছে 5 মিনিটৰ পিছত শেষ হয়
লিভ নাহে স্যাৰ, এইটো
কানেকশ্যন দেখে
কেনেকে শেষ হ'ব লাগিছে, দাদাটো আছে
আপোনাৰ জিঅ' কিমান জিবি 1.5 জিবি গোটেই আপোনাৰ 1.5 জিবি শেষ হৈ গ'ল কথা
চাওক কিমান শেষ হ'ল
কথাটো বুজি পোৱা নাই।
সেইদিনা হেৰি কেনেকে কৰিলে
নাই নাই শেষ হোৱা নাই 218 শেষ হৈছে নাই নাই হোৱা নাই
তবে হেৰি দেচোন পাছত
হোৱা নাই
মই চাই দিছোঁ
এতিয়া তাক চাৰ্টিফিকেট পঠিয়াব লাগিছে নে
চাওক কি হৈছে মানে
কি চাৰ্টিফিকেট কি শেষ হোৱা নাই কি কথা ক'ব আহিছ এইটো পঢ়ি যাচোন নিৰ্দিষ্ট
তাকেতো
আৰু ডাটা শেষ
চহী কৰিব কেনেকে
এইটো এতিয়া আহিছে আকৌ
ক'ত এতিয়া আহিছে
এইটো চাই আছে তেতিয়া ইয়াত দেখা নাছিল
সেইটো ডাটা শেষ সেইকাৰণে হৈছে কানেকশ্যন লছ সেইকাৰণে হৈছিল সেইদিনাখন আপুনি সেইটা ভাল হ'ব 4 GB ডাটা এইটো জিঅ' নহয় জানো
নাই আপুনি এটা টপ আপ বনাই ল'ব লাগিব
টপ আপত ডাটা কি হৈছে
টপ আপত